Have you ever had that moment where you realize that you don't have to explain every single thing to people? Like you realize that you don't have to justify why you do a certain thing, or why you chose a particular path, or why you live a certain way. There's this point I reached where I realized that not everyone's going to understand you, and that is totally fine. And trust me, that mindset really gave a peace of mind to me. And I've realized that it's super powerful as well. Because suddenly you are quiet in places where you could explain yourself, but you didn't feel the need to. Now, don't mistake this for standing up for yourself. Standing up for yourself is a totally different situation. That's where you explain yourself, you stand up for yourself when a certain boundary of yours is crossed. So that's a completely different scenario. This is a scenario where people, maybe something that you did or something, maybe a career path you chose doesn't make sense to someone, and they keep asking you why you chose that, what's your future plans, stuff like that. And you realize that you don't really have to explain every single thing to people, and you don't have to justify why you chose a particular path. It's basically like a okay, I know what I'm doing and that's enough kind of thing, right? Like you don't keep justifying people about why you do certain things. Now, this is where you start trusting yourself more than anyone else. Anyways, today's about that. Welcome to the podcast. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Okay, now let's talk about where this even came from, right? I think we grew up wanting to be understood, right? Like this whole validation became a habit. We sometimes, even unintentionally, without even realizing, we do certain things just for the sake of validation from people, right? So we end up over explaining and justifying people about certain things till that whole thing or whatever you call it makes sense to them. But what you got to understand is, I feel like not everything will make sense to people. What makes sense to you might not always make sense to the others, and vice versa. And then it's people pleasing. I think it's all connected, right? Like you don't want people to really misunderstand you. You don't want them to think that you're wrong or you're whatever mean, or so you end up trying to explain people about why you do the thing you do. And obviously we humans, we want, to a certain extent, we want people to get us. Like we want them to say, yes, this makes sense, I like what you're doing, and so and so. We're all humans and that's okay. But at times we don't even realize that we're doing this, right? We're in this constant pressure to keep justifying and explaining people that we end up over explaining people and we drain our energy. Also, this is not only about yourself, not only about over explaining and justifying people. This can also be in a conversation. People are discussing something, maybe an opinion. There's a clash of opinions and on a certain topic, and you're there, you're also in a hurry to put your opinion and justify your point rather than really listening to what others has to say. And also, this one thing what I do is I observe whether the people there having the conversation would be really interested to really listen to me, right? If I put an opinion there, if I talk something there, will they be really interested to listen to me? If you feel like they're pretty engaged in the conversation, wouldn't really mind what you're saying, then you stay shut. That's literally what I do. First of all, I feel like listening is more important than telling your point. If you tell your point before listening to them, that's of no use. That's what I think, okay? And this is what I really do. I observe them. If I feel like, yes, I can tell my point here, they'd be interested to listen to me, then I put my point there, or then I talk. Otherwise, I keep observing them. I keep listening, not even observing. I keep listening to what they have to say. Because often a time, I think we are in a hurry to really justify our point. I've used to justify like 10,000 times in this video by now, but bear it. Yeah, so what I was saying is, if in a conversation, we sometimes are in a hurry to really put our point rather than really listening to the people out there, what they have to say. Now, there's a difference between clarity and over explaining, right? Like clarity is when you say what needs to be said. It's simple and put in a straight way. Like you're not trying to convince anyone. Now, over explaining is when you keep talking even after your point is made. Like you're scared whether the other person understood you or not. Now, clarity is when you're confident with what you're doing. Over explaining is when you're not really confident about yourself. You don't trust yourself. At least that's how I see it. Often at times we think we're being clear, but we're just repeating ourselves, hoping that the other person gets it. And I think that's not clarity, that's insecurity, right? Oh, that rhymes. Clarity and security. Anyways, also it's important to understand when explanations are actually needed, right? Like you should know what deserves an explanation and what doesn't. It's not like you go cold and silent all of a sudden. I think there are some points in your life where explanation is required. Like you have to talk there. Now, explanations are needed in places where it's a commitment or a responsibility where you gotta explain and clarify things. Now, if it's something that affects the other person, then definitely you have to explain things, right? But on the other hand, if it's something that doesn't really affect the other person, then you don't have to try so hard to explain or justify yourself. Not everything requires a backstory, right? Like even for you might not have thousand reasons to choose a particular thing, and that's okay. Sometimes you won't even know why you're choosing a particular thing or why you're doing a particular thing. I don't know whether it makes sense to you, but it has been the case for me sometimes. Sometimes I might not have as many reasons that I want to choose a particular thing, but I just do it anyways because I feel like it. And oh my god, once you understand this whole difference, yeah, you get this peace of mind. Like, I got this peace of mind when I realized that I don't have to explain everything to people. Like, I could make choices without thinking, oh, what will I say to this person or what will I tell to people? Like, I didn't have to come up with a reason before taking a decision. So, yeah, that's pretty much it on what I wanted to share today. This whole thing has genuinely helped me a lot. Like, with just listening more instead of constantly feeling that need to always jump in and explain yourself. I think sometimes it's just better to sit and observe and explain when needed. Okay, if it doesn't really affect anyone, you don't have to be in a pressure to tell. Trust me, life feels a lot lighter when you do that. I mean, for me, it was like that. I think it will be like that for you as well, because that constant pressure is something that takes away your peace of mind, right? So, yeah, that's it. Thanks for listening, and I will see you in the next one.